Hello, BookTube. I have a little mail haul for you here on a Wednesday. I went out, did things again, left the Frida Bean for just a bit, uh, came back, everything was fine. There was no prolonged staring contest between her and Bigfoot. But the first book I want to show you is not something that I have a package for. I opened the package already. It's this. Uh, Mariner reissued John Guy's biography of Mary Queen of Scots with a movie edition cover. Um, and I know that in the book world we don't tend to like movie edition covers. I also tend not to like them. It's very, very rare that a movie edition cover will be good. I think this one is better than usual because it's a high quality, it's a high resolution publicity still of these two young boys. And instead of what it usually is, which is a blurry action clap, a capture from actual moving film that just slapped on for no cost whatsoever. This looks almost like you would do a movie poster. If I'm assuming that one of these boys is Lord Darnley, and I'm assuming that he has a publicity still of his own. So if you wanted to have him on a poster instead of Mary Queen of Scots or Queen Elizabeth I, I guess you would do something like this. So it's not as bad as it could be. But I'm choosing to concentrate on the happiness of having the book back in print. John Guy is a fantastic historian, and this is a fantastic book. Of course, it will never have the number one place in my heart when it comes to biographies of Mary Queen of Scots. That will always be Antonia Fraser's book, which I think is unsurpassable. I really do. But nevertheless, I was happy to have this. Glad to see it in any format. But now we do have the rest are all packages that we have that we can just open together and have some fun on a chilly Wednesday. Let's see what this first one is. I've heard that the temperature is supposed to go up and rain. So we'll see. I would definitely take the one or the other, not to be cold. For even a minute, I would like to not be cold. Oh, fantastic. Oh, great. All right. This is a January release. This is from the guy who did Underground Airlines. This is Ben Winters. His new book, Golden State, is all about the truth. It's all about alternate facts and post-truth society. This is, let's see here what the pub sheet says. As the discomfort of our own reality grows, Ben Winters is back to plumb those depths and somehow make facing our fears incredibly enjoyable. In Golden State, we find ourselves in a world where the dissemination of fake news and the assault on facts has ended badly. Unclear how, the cataclysm itself shrouded in conspiracy and myth, and lying has long ago been decreed an illegal act. And I read an opening chunk of this book, and the main character is authorized by the state to lie. The novel makes absolute most of that irresistible setup. Golden State is compulsively readable, procedural, following a cop whose beat just happens to be untruth. It's speculative fiction within the bounds of which speculating and fiction are themselves transgressive. It's cheeky, brilliant, and digs into urgent contemporary concerns without sacrificing a drop of propulsive, wholly persuasive reading experience. Slow down there, Seymour. That's your pub sheet? A string of superlatives? You're not going to tell people about the book? Well, the cop involved, it is largely a very good police procedural set in a slightly dystopian future in which lying is illegal, and California is Golden State. California is a country of its own. And a couple of things that intrigue me about it is this comes out in late January, so it's right around the corner. A couple of things that intrigue me about it, one of which is that the protagonist is very young. He's a teenager. I can't believe they're not going to tell you about the book, though. Oh, okay, all right. Well, there's a bit more on the back. In a strange, alternate society that values law and truth above all else, Laszlo Retisic is a 19-year-old veteran of the speculative service. He lives in the Golden State, a nation standing where California once did, a place where like-minded Americans retreated after the erosion of truth and the spread of lies made public life and governance impossible. In the Golden State, knowingly contradicting the truth is the greatest crime, and stopping those criminals is Laz's job. In its service, he is one of the few individuals permitted to traffic in untruths, to speculate on what might have happened. But Golden State is far less a paradise than its name might suggest. To monitor, verify, and enforce the truth requires a veritable panopticon of surveillance and recording. And when those in control of the facts twist them for nefarious ends, the speculators are the only ones with the power to fight back. And I read an opening chunk of this when I should have been doing more productive stuff, and was just in love right away. So I think this is going to be another hit for Ben Winters. We shall see. But if you're into the made up stories, you're going to want to put this on your watch list for January. So where are we going to put these things? I've got a sleeping bean. I've got technology all around here. Let's see. Wow, great to have that. That's wonderful. That's going to get reviewed everywhere, I think. Oh, fantastic. All right. This is from Penguin Press, and this is Kristen Hoganson's The Heartland, An American History. This setup doesn't work too bad, right? You can see these things. Yes. Wayward, exclusionary, rural, static, out of touch. These are some of the stereotypes that have categorized the American heartland. Mapped somewhere between the Appalachian states of the East and the Rocky Mountain states of the West, the heartland serves as the symbolic center of national mythologies. Imagined as isolated and provincial, the American heartland is where the nation's identity exists in its most pristine form. According to the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign history professor Kristen Hoganson, there is much more to the story. She dispels the myth that the Midwest is local and insular. Instead, she presents the American Midwest as much more complex, framing the rural heartland as a region with a rich history of global entanglements. Okay, good. Well, I haven't actually read this, but we shall see what kind of a job it does. The American Midwest, there you see just endless farms and with a road bisecting them. And any of you who maybe have never visited the American Midwest, those of you who don't live in America maybe, or a lot of people in America who have never done it, that is the experience of driving through the American Midwest and the heartland, so to speak, the American Midwest, and then the eastern half of the west part of the country, the middle part of the country, is just roads in the middle of endless fields of produce, just endless produce and livestock, just goes on forever and ever and ever. It's beautiful in the Midwest, and then when you get to the West, it's a little depressing. It still goes on forever and ever, but you lose the hills, you lose the greenery, you lose the sense of lived space. It feels much more corporately farmed. And one of the contentions in this pub sheet, the pub sheet is rattling off typical mythologies about the American Midwest, and one of those is, imagined as isolated and provincial, the American heartland is where the nation's identity exists in its most pristine form. That is completely not true. That is completely false. And that people think that all the time. Politicians take big advantage of that. In every campaign season, you get politicians who are national politicians who are almost exclusively from the two coastal elites, the West or East Coast elites, tramp all the way through the American heartland, eating corn dogs and going to state fairs and very visibly hating every minute of it. But they have to traffic with that myth that the heartland is where American identity is at its most pristine. That is absolutely not true. American identity is at its most pristine and the eastern seacoast. Okay? I'll even include New York in that, just because I'm feeling generous. But that's where the American identity is. The American Midwest, to the extent that you can still call it isolated. I don't know how far an extent that is. I'll be reading this book to find that out. I mean, they have wireless towers all over the American Midwest and the West. So to the extent that you can call it isolated, you certainly still can't call it quintessentially American at all. Quintessentially American, the American spirit, is takeout at midnight. It's cabs, it's buildings, it's bookstores, it's businesses cropping up, doing business, going out of business, being replaced. It's urban, not rural. So it breaks my heart to say that, because I am in love with the American heartland. I have been over every inch of it, and I love it dearly. Absolutely love it dearly. Little towns full of friendly people who don't lock their doors at night. And that is weird. The thing to remember is that is not the American identity in its pristine state. That is a weird anomaly that the American Midwest and the West has always been, but that the rest of the country has never been. So I'm going to have a lot of fun reading this book and arguing with it. That's wonderful. All right, let's move on here. This mail haul ends in a box, and once again, I'm getting an odd vibe from the box. So we shall see. Oh, fantastic! Oh boy. Okay. All right, this came out in 2017, and this is the paperback release. The paperback is out already. It's from November. It's by Abigail Williams, and it's The Social Life of Books. This was such a good book. This was so good. And this is the paperback, which is good because I have no idea where my hardcover is. And there you see, it's mainly about the 18th century. And there on the cover you will see me and Deb and our children. There's little Orestes and little Rudiger. And they're hiding down on the floor, meek as always, a waste of space, is little Iphigenia. Deb and I sold them all before we moved out of that house, so they're not going to be a bother to us anymore. But so this is the paperback. This will have all of the blurbs from whoever reviewed this. I never actually did review it, but I loved it. I read it and loved it, and I'm very glad to have it again. This is let's see here, 2 centuries before the advent of radio, television, and motion pictures. Books were a cherished form of popular entertainment and an integral component of domestic social life. In this fascinating and vivid history, Abigail Williams explores the ways in which shared reading shaped the lives and literary culture of the time, offering new perspectives on how books have been used by their readers and the part they have played in middle-class homes and families. Reading aloud and reading together was a crucial part of daily domestic activity. And a large chunk of that was religious sermons, but a large chunk of it wasn't. And this book is just terrific. A perfect example. This is Yale University Press. This is a perfect example of scholarly book written for a general audience. So I highly recommend it, and you're going to have it in paperback now. That's wonderful. All right, we're zeroing in. We're getting closer and closer to the mystery box. So let's see what this next one is. It's a skinny thing. Oh, okay. All right, I didn't request this, but what is this? Well, I don't actually know what this is, and it doesn't tell me a whole lot. It's by Amanda Sters. Sters? No idea how to say that. It's by Amanda. Amanda wrote a book, and it's a novel called Holy Lands with dancing pigs on the cover. Holy Lands is a witty epistolary novel chronicling several months in the lives of a far-flung family of colorful eccentrics. Harry Rosenmerk, an aging Jewish cardiologist, has left his medical practice in New York to raise pigs in Israel. Meanwhile, his ex-wife Monique reflects on their once happy marriage while she battles an aggressive illness. Their son David, the son is always named David, an earnest and successful playwright, has been estranged from his father since coming out and is determined to reconnect. Annabelle, their daughter, finds herself unmoored in Paris in the aftermath of a breakup. Which of us hasn't found ourselves unmoored in Paris in the aftermath of a breakup? And you know, Paris gloats at moments like that. Actually, Paris gloats at most moments. Harry eschews technology, so his family, spread out around the world, must communicate with him through letters. So they must want his money, or they wouldn't do it. We'll see. See, this is a very thin thing. It won't take long to read. They snipe at one another, volleying quips across the Atlantic, the Mediterranean, and Europe. All that sounds like a lot of fun. But even while they grapple with their personal and shared challenges, the family's correspondence sparkles with levity, and they find joy in unexpected sources as they struggle to love and accept each other. Amanda wrote and directed the film adaptation of Holy Lands, which is now on the festival circuit, and is set for a May 2019 release in the United States. She was born in Paris and now lives in LA. And she's the best-selling author of 10 novels. Her debut English-language film, Madame, was released in America in 2018. The French government has named her a Knight of the Order of Arts of Letters, the highest honor it bestows on artists for her significant and original contributions to the literary arts. What on earth? What on earth? She's been knighted by the French government. That is Amanda. Can you make that out? She's extremely young to be a knighted. Okay, what is this then? So what? Uh, it's very odd to get a pub sheet that has no dates on it, no information of any kind. So I don't know when this came out. It must be out already. No, it's first published. The actual date says. I mean, the French book came out in 2010, but this thing has a date on the copyright information of 2019. But I don't have any. I don't have any. I'll have to look this up and see. An epistolary novel, a family epistolary novel. The father doesn't do technology, so they all write to him. Okay. He's raising pigs in Israel. Holy Lands. Isn't that something? Sounds fascinating. All right, so that is all of the packages. Now we have the box. No idea what this is. So once again, I say that if it blows up, there's at least a video record. I think I would probably survive, but you never know. I survived everything else so far. Let's see. Now I'll just flatten these scissors like a knife, and I'll just dig it in this. Oh! Just kidding. I'm going to put them away. They're safely away. I'm not going to open this the wrong way and get yelled at. Let's see. Let's see what we have here. Whoever packed this took no chances. That's for sure. And I've got Frida interested now. She notices that I'm struggling with this thing. We'll just manhandle it, that's all. What is this? Oh. What on earth? There's no note or anything. It's just two boxes that say Season's Greetings. What is in here, Bean? Oh. Fudge is in here. Fudge is in here. Oh my goodness. Oh, Frida Bean, we have fudge, baby Bean. Oh, okay. Okay. We went over this yesterday. The person who sent this, I cannot thank you enough. This is wonderful. I don't know that I don't know that I've made it clear on this channel, but I have a huge sweet tooth for fudge. I absolutely do. It's, in my opinion, it is the only thing that Maine has going for it. But we covered this yesterday. On this channel, I give things to you. Okay? I am incredibly touched by all these presents I'm getting in the mail right in time for Christmas. It makes Christmas feel real to me in a way that it hasn't felt in a long, long time. But still, you people are putting yourselves to bother in order to give presents to a weird old stranger who shows up on your flat screen TVs a few times a day. Anyway, but I'm certainly not giving them up. 2 boxes full of fudge ends this mail haul. So once again, we can do a Steve pyramid, but the best part is not a book. So we have Holy Lands. I'll find out all about this. It probably comes out in January. The Social Life of Books in paperback from Yale. A tremendous. If you're interested in the history of books and the history of reading, you got to read this book. Then the Heartlands, a new study of flyover country, of square state flyover country here in America. Then Golden State by Ben Winters, the author who did Underground Airlines. So I don't know how many of you read that book, but a book like Underground Airlines is is the perfect way to establish credit with readers. You write a book that good, then it's perfectly justified for your readers to go into your next book happy, singing a song, because they already know you can do good, and they're just waiting for you to do it again. And the first chunk that I read of this duplicates the success of that book wonderfully. So I'm looking forward to finishing it next year. And also John Guy's biography of Mary Queen of Scots is now has this sort of an orange umber reprint from Mariner Books. Good for them to get it back in bookstores in advance of the new movie. Wonderful. So that is our mail haul for today. But I will be back. Thank you, BookTube.